Hello and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Jye Currie. Today we have with us a very special guest, Yasmin, who is an NRLW player for the Newcastle Knights. Really looking forward to getting into this one. So, Yasmin, thank you so much for being here.
That's okay, anytime.
I didn't think this was going to happen for a second.
I know, sorry, that's probably my fault.
So what we're just chatting about, all women have to be working jobs because they're not full-time athletes.
Yeah, so currently in the NRLW, we aren't full-time athletes, so we've still got to make income outside of our rugby league careers. So it is hard, and like a lot of girls that have to work full-time, travel, some are mothers as well, and yeah, making the sacrifices for trainings and everything like that is really hard.
Does it put a lot of pressure on your game?
Yes, as well, like, because you want to perform and you want to be the best you can for your team, but then you also have to take a step back and realise you're a person as well. You need to also make sure you fill your cup up as well.
I feel like that would just be like you're trying to prep for a big game and like you so much travel, I'm guessing, and work.
Yeah.
So you'd need flexible jobs.
Yeah, and I think that's also what people probably don't see is like the opportunities you lose in the workforce when you put the workforce on hold to really go into your career of rugby league, because you do have to fully commit. Otherwise, you won't make it, if that makes sense. Like, you need to fully commit. And yeah, it was a real struggle for me for a couple of years, is deciding like what do you have to put first and prioritising. Because at the end of the day, like, I need to make sure that I'm okay. And I'm really great that I've got a really good support network. So my husband really supports me, and my family's always there. But because I also live in Scone, so I live 2 hours away from Newcastle.
Oh,
so I travel, back and forth. And again, like, that takes a big toll. And not seeing my husband as much as I would like as well is a massive toll on probably just all my emotions at the same time. So, being able to, have a really positive environment, and when I get to see them having that quality time with my family and friends makes the season really, like, worthwhile.
And are you teaching up there?
Yeah, so I teach at Scone Grammar. So my school's incredible. I've taken like a little bit of leave recently because of the demands of football, and it's gotten a bit not out of hand, but it's gotten a bit more demanding. So being able to fully commit. So even like last year was the first time we had 3 Origin games, and previously we've only ever had 1. So again, that's more time that you need to take off work, a longer pre-season, and then that goes straight into our pre-season at Knights. And yeah, we are becoming more professional in regards to training. So like the expectations of like 4 training sessions, 2 weight sessions, recovery is a must. So yeah, trying to get fit all of that in as well as work, it does get hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do sponsorships and stuff help?
Yeah, definitely. But again, it's not for every athlete. It's only for some athletes that are probably at the top. And then the other athletes, there's a lot of sacrifices that they do have to make. And
is this going to change? Like, surely they should get this sorted pretty soon.
I hope so. So we're in our current CBA till 2027. And then 2028 we go into renegotiation, and by then I think there'll be another 2 teams, so it'll be 14 teams in the female game.
How many are there now?
12 this year, so we've gone to a big number, which is exciting, but it also means like you've got a longer season, you've got to push pre-season, like it goes longer as well, because you've got to make sure you prep your body to be the best that you can. But there's also just so many little things that you probably have to sacrifice, and hopefully by 2028 there's talks that it could be a full-time program, and hopefully there's funding in the sort of NRL for that.
Surely by 2028.
I hope so. It'll be really cool to watch and see where the game can go. And it's only just flourishing, and it's only at the beginning. We have to remember, like, the men's game's been around for over 100 years, and we're still in the infancy. So we're not even, I think we're at year 7 or 6.
So 6 years ago or 7 years ago, there wasn't an
NRLW competition.
Yeah, right.
So we had just like state competitions, and like rugby league did exist. Like, there was female rugby league existed, but it just wasn't televised. It wasn't getting the coverage. It wasn't getting the viewership probably that it deserved. And when you get that viewership, and then that's where the money can come into it, and you can start to pay athletes. So again, I feel like recognizing the players that have come previous to us is massive, because without their sacrifice and their constant pushing, like knocking down the door, we wouldn't be able to be where we are today.
What about other leagues like Union and AFL?
Yeah. So really similar, like they're still all semi-professional.
Yep.
The only real full-time sporting sort of place is like your Olympic sports. So like your rugby sevens, that's a full-time program because they're prepping for the Olympics, and they've got like the funding from like the AOC, and like that's a pretty cool program. Like they get to just be full-time athletes. But I feel like we are getting there in Australia as well, especially. It's just about making sure that we keep a product that people want to keep watching, and we're just there to support each other throughout like these sort of times.
When you were growing up, was it always football?
No way.
No?
So growing up, I was a netball player.
Yeah. Bit of a change.
Yeah, heaps different change, but I feel like as well in the past 10 years, just like the opportunities, I think, for girls to play contact sports and probably like what society would see as a more male-dominant sport. 10 years ago, like that probably didn't exist. So when I was growing up, and I grew up around Newcastle, like there was no women's sports. Like there was only netball. Like there was no women rugby league teams running around for like juniors to play in. So, I was a netball player, and I loved netball growing up, and I then made the move to touch football probably when I was like 18. So probably like still not non-contact. And then it was only when I moved to Canberra with my husband, I tried rugby union to start with. And then I just made the jump from there. But yeah, that probably availability of sport when I was growing up, and the way that the sporting world viewed rugby league was just boys only played rugby league. So yeah, to be able to see young girls and watching us in the grandstand and being able to see that there is a pathway now that girls can get there at that level, and people want to watch rugby league, like women playing rugby league. It's pretty special, yeah, like because that did not exist when I was growing up.
When you say like there were no like women's sports, do you take that personal at all?
Oh, a little bit. I shouldn't say there was women's sports, but it probably was really dictated by gender. So like growing up, like I'm 30, but like it still felt like I would go play netball and then we'd go watch my brother play football. Like there was no girls in my brother's football team, and he's only younger than me. So it was just like, that was just like the way that it was back then. And I feel like our times are changing where it's accepted, like not acceptable, it always should be acceptable, but that girls are wanting to do that. Because I know growing up, I didn't want to play contact, I didn't want to play football, like it just wasn't normal. And I hate that saying that, because anything should be like, you should be able to do whatever you want, or you should be able to think you can achieve whatever you want as well. And I feel like hopefully that with this NRLW, that we're instilling that in young girls today, that they can be whatever they want and chase whatever dreams they want.
Is that like a big motive to like inspire the next?
Yeah, massive. Especially, so I'm probably at the back end of my career, and realising what an impact I can probably make on younger girls trying to like make it in the sport, or even just like getting them to enjoy physical activity, like being a PE teacher. I feel like it's really important to instill in children and like, and just while they're going through adolescence, like how important it is to enjoy physical activity, not just like with like not just wanting to do it for that sort of period of time, making sure that they have lifelong physical activity and they're just enjoying it.
Healthy living.
Yeah, and that's like, it's a really important thing, because you see massive drop off in especially females growing up in sport, but making sure that they sort of like, if they can find something they enjoy, that's probably what we want to instill in them. But
do you think the drop off was like there wasn't like the outlet for them?
Yeah, a little bit. And I still think there's still like those society views that it's not cool, or like they can't do it as well. Like that's probably a big thing, is it gets too hard for girls to keep trying, which I want to make, like I want people to keep trying, and that's the main part, like of like probably, yeah, just enjoying physical activity again.
That's nice.
Yeah.
When you're with the team or the girls, are you talking about this stuff a lot?
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like I probably took a bit for granted as well, and now that you like sort of take a step back and you realize everything you've achieved and everything you've done, like I want to make sure that girls feel like they can do that. But yeah, we probably could talk about it a little bit more as well, and I feel like it would make girls feel more empowered.
Were there any fears going into a contact sport? Going from netball into we're going to smash each other on the ground?
Yeah, it's different. It's probably different. I'm probably a little bit crazy where I love the contact, and I probably maybe have an anger issue or something because I'm quite an aggressive player, and I like really enjoy the contact side of the sport, and I know for a lot of girls that's probably what deters them from coming. But no, it is a massive change from the netball to rugby league, but I've really enjoyed the challenge, and I always think I'm very competitive. So to be able to challenge myself to try and get to a new level or learn something new every year is something that I really enjoy still.
I want to know, talk a little bit about your mindset. So going into games, do you have like a period where you're revving up? Like is it in the locker room with the girls? Are you all just getting in that mindset ready to go out there?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like every season, like getting a little bit older, I like focus on definitely having a growth mindset, because I feel I still want to learn, and I feel like the day you stop learning is the day you don't get better. So to me, making sure that I set my new goals. So I set goals, mini goals like throughout the season, and then I set big goals that I want to achieve throughout my career. So yeah, that keeps me really motivated to keep getting better as well. But like during the warm up, so I probably don't start like revving up until I'm in the change room. Otherwise you just wear yourself out. But like we've had a lot of later games recently, so 7:50 p.m. So it's like, and that for me, that's been really hard.
What's that? Why's that?
Because that's like when people watch TV the most.
Yeah.
So it's all about viewing again.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been really hard to sort of like get myself ready. So I try and sleep in, but for me, like a sleep in's like 6:30.
Yeah.
And then I like go for a breakfast. Like I try not to think about football at all, and then I'll try and nap, but I'll probably just watch a movie and like try and like not go on social media at all, because you don't want to read too much into the game. I don't want to play the game too early. And then probably when I get into the change rooms, I like to visualize. So I always go out to the field, visualize my game, try and put myself in position on the field. So I like to feel the ground, get grounded with the stadium, and then I'll come back into the change rooms, and I'm one that likes to like give girls energy and positive energy as well. So like I'll talk to girls and like see how everyone's feeling, because I know we get a lot of girls that get quite nervous. Whereas I like to try and take their nerves away by giving them confidence as well. And so a lot of self-talk, and I like to talk to other girls as well. That really helps me prepare for the game. And then I probably get like really revved up just before warm up. So I do like to have some caffeine before I run out. That's probably one of my little tools that I use as well. And then hopefully, that can last me throughout the game.
How important is it that everyone's energy is like on the same frequency before you go out? Yeah,
it's pretty important. Again, I feel like everyone's going to be on a wavelength, so the wavelength that can go up and down, but making sure that you instill confidence in each other, and you're confident that they know what they're doing. And I feel like that's where that energy or that wavelength comes from. Because some girls can be really nervous before a game, and some girls are just chill. But making sure that you have that confidence and that confidence in that they know what they're going to do is like when I feel teams perform the best.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really, it's interesting. And again, every team that I play in is so different. Like every girl that takes a field has a different sort of perspective, but ensuring that we're all confident in the game plan and we're all confident in each other, I feel like that's when the teams that I've played in play the best.
Yeah. Is there a thing with playing for the Knights or the Roosters? Does that matter? Does it come into the team, the girls?
I don't think it matters. It just is the way that the team comes together. So having confidence in each other, and also just having that respect for each other on the field, that like, you know, they're going to have your back. Like, they're the games that I felt that I personally and that our team has probably performed the best is when I feel like everyone has each other's back on the field.
And does that just come from you, like you're just making personal connections? Does the coach try to push that?
Yeah, definitely. It's like it probably does come from the coach and also the girls themselves. And I know we always talk about like team culture, but it's that like making sure that you understand each player on a different sort of level but also respecting them on the field, because not everyone has to be best friends. That's probably like the squad's so big, like you're not going to be best friends with everyone, but as soon as you step on that field, you respect each player you play with. And I feel like that respect is what that culture builds off. Like I know you can build culture off winning, but also like it's the sort of grit that girls show in those moments that are tough is where you're going to build that sort of culture.
Is there a level of where we're invested in the game, we want to win, but we're not emotional in the sense of outcome or how people are thinking and feeling, like it's just we've got to do our job?
Yeah. I feel like in the girls' game that's really hard because you need those those personal connections to be able to feel like you're being supported.
Yeah,
so,
right.
In the girls' game, that is really hard, and I think that's where some sort of like not controversy, but like trust issues sort of start to happen. Is if you don't trust someone, like it's going to be really hard to put your trust in them on the field too. But I've noticed like in teams that I've played in, like when like just that respect that you have as a teammate is huge on the field.
He's all friends?
Yeah, I think girls are all friends. Like it's a tough environment. Like 24 girls trying to get all along like can be tough. But it's about just, when you go on the field, you respect them, and you got to have that sort of relationship where you can tell someone, like not tell them off, but tell someone something, and then they take that on as like positive feedback. It's not you're having a go at them. It's they want you to be better because that's going to help the team environment.
You said it better than me. With the emotions, like being able to go and do that and like leaving them emotions on the side and being able to like just get to it when we need to.
And that's really important in the girls' game, and being able to know that when someone is talking to you, it's coming from a place of like genuine concern. Like they want you to be better, and they want the team to be better, and feeling that sort of connection allows that relationship to form and allows the team to flourish when everyone feels like they're being heard and everyone's on the same page. That's probably like where I'm getting.
Yeah, good.
It is cool.
What are your goals with it?
So for this year, my goal would be to be like consistently starting in the Knights team. Again, I don't want to like rest on, like I was one of the starting back rowers last year. Like I always feel like you need to be better and make sure that you are pushing for positions. It's not guaranteed. Like that jersey is not guaranteed to me for this year. Like there's some young players coming through that are really looking good, and making sure that I don't just rest on that.
What do you mean it's not guaranteed? Like if you were to just play a couple games bad, would they just not put you on for a game, or?
It would probably, maybe probably.
Really?
Like our season's quite short, and being able to play consistent footy is massive. But I feel if girls aren't playing up to the standard that the coach needs it or the team needs you to be at, like you're not guaranteed your spot. And I don't think anyone should think that they're guaranteed a spot either, because that's when you start to play with a bit of complacency.
Does that put pressure on?
A little bit. But again, reframing that pressure is that it's a privilege to be able to be in this position, that I don't want to let it just slide. I always want to be pushing to be better. But so that's probably one big goal is there, and I'd love to make the Origin team again.
Nice.
And win the Shield.
Yep.
It's been a little while since we've won it, so again we've got the 3 games again this year, and to be able to be picked for that again in whatever capacity the team would need me would be amazing. And then our big goal would obviously be to win an NRLW premiership again with my Knights girls. So
I want to talk about that past one too.
Yeah, but again, I feel like you play sport to win. I'm very competitive, so that would be a big goal. And the team, again, we've lost a lot of players from last year to this year. And that's really hard. I feel it's hard, but then it's also exciting because we get like a sort of fresh start with like a lot of young girls. And I think it was really, really hard to say goodbye to some of those players because we'd created such great memories and we'd had great wins with them, and we've also just come through a lot of adversity. But again, it's exciting to get the opportunity to be able to create new memories with this new squad that we have.
With everyone wanting to win and then like people leaving to different clubs, when you play each other and you kind of know each other's weaknesses and mindset and all that, how much comes into it then?
Yeah, a little bit. And like, again, when you like make rep teams, people ask, oh, what does this player like do? What do they think? And so it is hard and it is funny. So like, again, so my best friend plays for the Titans. Mm. So when we come up against each other, it's quite funny. Like for girls, like everything's kept on the field. Like, so we don't take anything off the field, which is
that's good.
The best part about the game. But I do remember it was the grand final against the Titans when we won. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like I was so happy we won. But then I remember looking at my best friend and I just was like, oh my gosh, she's so sad. And I just was like, I've had such conflicting emotions because I hate seeing my friends so sad, but then we just won. So it was really hard to I felt like I put sport aside and just wanted to be there for my friend as well. So yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like girls as well, we can be more emotional than and we show it probably a lot more than what men do. Mm. Yeah, so I remember just crying with her because she was crying, but she was crying because she lost. So it was kind of hard for me to put them to separate them two as well. But yeah, it was it's really hard when you come up against your friends.
It's just made me think about a lot of things actually. But you ever at like a barbecue then you and her and people are sitting there going, and you won, and you won, and you won, and it's you don't want to keep running with the because you deserve that. You should be able to then express that and you're excited, but you start dimming that because she's there and you don't want to make her feel and not her not
just her personally, but there's moments that it's kind of awkward when people just want to talk about winning, but I feel like we have such a great friendship that it never is even about that, and we're just so proud of each other for the achievements that we have we've probably got in this game. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit like that. So for example, Origin as well, Queensland have beaten us quite a bit, and she's part of the Queensland team. So I don't know. There's always on the flip side, there's always sort of different sort of ways you can look at things.
I like that you just leave it on the field.
Oh, massively. It's not Loz and I would not really even talk about football off the field. We just have such a great friendship that football is there, but we're going to be friends when football finishes. And I feel like that's probably a big thing, is making sure that you have support networks outside of football.
How's your mindset around keeping it so important? I'm so driven, I want to win, and it's, your life, and you want to do all these things, but then also going, I'm going to build a life beyond that, because then when football's not around, I've got my relationship still.
I feel coming into the sport a little bit older. So I didn't start playing. So I played rugby sevens. So when I was 22, and then I went to rugby league when I was 24, 20 or 25 maybe. So I actually feel being a little bit older and coming to the sport made my perspective way different to what these young girls are coming through the sport. I already finished my university degree before I started playing sport as well, and I really make sure that I don't tie my identity to football. So I'm Yasmin and I love rugby league, but I'm not Yasmin the rugby league player. Yep. I know that my identity, people associate it with football, rugby league, but making sure that I also know that I'm Yasmin and I'm a teacher, I'm Yasmin, I'm a rugby league player, I'm Yasmin and I'm a wife. I'm don't just tie myself to one thing, because I think when girls tie their identity to rugby league especially, or a sport in general, it only takes one injury, one setback.
And everything's falling apart.
Yes. So I feel my mindset has been quite strong, being a little bit older in the sport, realising there's so much outside of sport like your football career could be like, for a good football career, you could play 10 years, like max.
If they're starting at 10 years, are they starting like 18?
Yeah, so like I would probably say 18 to 28 would be like a good football career.
Okay.
And I remember listening to I forget what NRL player it was, but it was a male NRL player, and again, he was saying that the average rugby league career like lasts 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah. So like I feel like we've come through like with all the like, yeah, it's actually when I heard that too, I was baffled.
Wow, yeah.
So when you get on a full-time contract, the average, so I think they've like looked at every single person that's played NRL and how long they've been in a system, like it's been three years was like the average.
Really?
Which is insane. And I feel like with girls and becoming, hopefully in the next few years we become professional, I feel being able to help coach girls on having the right mindset, making sure that they don't tie themselves to rugby league where they feel lost without it. And I think I've already said to my husband, like when I retire from rugby league, I said there'll be probably a couple of dark years with me trying to find myself again.
Yep.
But I also know that already, whereas I feel when some girls, it gets taken away from them without them. That's probably when it gets a little bit scary. And but I also am such a big advocate for education. So making sure, because we actually get educational grants in rugby league.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so making use of those grants and setting yourself up post-football, even if you are 21, like you never know when football's going to finish. So I'm such a big advocate for finding a niche or finding something that you are really interested in or that you want to study so that you feel like a greater purpose than just rugby league.
Because like if you had an injury and it was taken away from you, that would be so hard.
It would be so hard. Like it is, and that's all, but that's all that it is. It could be one injury for one girl and they can't come back, or like even if like say like if someone fell pregnant as well, like that we also have that we need to face and finding the right time to have a family. Like it is really hard in this sport, and I feel like we're getting girls that are breaking that sort of cycle. Like we have Caitlin Johnson, and she was playing for the Knights, now she's playing for the Sharks, but she's pregnant now and she's only 24. So again, she'll have time to come back, and having the right support network around her I think will make it a lot easier as well. But like girls like that are going to empower other girls to feel like they can have that family and have a rugby league career as well. So like there's all these things that probably the male game's never had to face before.
Yeah.
That if we start to talk about it and we empower girls to make sure that they have the right education and they have something in place for when football finishes, and also finding the time to have the support to have a family is probably something that's like really big not issues, but big talking topics in our game at the moment.
Important things.
They're massive and they're a part of life. So yeah, that's how I'm really big on girls preparing themselves for outside of rugby league.
If a girl's going to have a kid, how long do they miss, like 2 seasons or?
Just depends as well. Like, and I guess every pregnancy is so different. So Caitlin's due in May and our season starts in June. So again, like it'll be really touch and go if she makes it back. But then also,
is there like consideration?
Yes. So
Really?
we have.
That seems like really fast turnaround.
It does, but it'll be up to Caitlin.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Then there is also maternity leave now in our contracts.
Oh, great.
So she doesn't have to feel
the pressure. Yeah,
which I think is like it's needed in our game. Like we struggle. It'd be hard to find like full-time work whilst having baby, whilst being a rugby league player. So
that'd be crazy.
Yeah. So when that stipulation was in for the pregnancy policy, like it was really needed in our game.
So from a grand final to like kind of pre-season / when it starts, how much time's off?
It's really hard because so it also depends if you make representative teams. So like after the season, like I played in Pacific Champs, so that was pretty much all of October, November, and we versed PNG in New Zealand. So probably like December, January, you kind of have off, but then you also don't want to get too like enjoy yourself too much.
You want to stay on.
Yeah, because then we start again pretty much, end March. You go back to, and that's for Origin.
So you wouldn't want to try to time having a baby in there. You'd just...
It's so hard.
Yeah,
I
you'd
feel
probably
like,
just have a season off.
yeah, like it is really hard, and there's no perfect time, I feel, at the moment. But I guess for me as well, like, because I'm a little bit older, I feel my mindset's a little bit different to, say, someone that is 24, because they do have that. I think now they will have that support to be able to come back into the game, which previously girls didn't. And like that was probably hard, because probably a lot of girls missed out on that opportunity to come back from pregnancy because they didn't have the support that we have
That
now.
must suck.
Yeah, and it is hard. Like it wasn't as professional then as well. Like again, the NRLW started with only 4 teams, so it was over in nearly 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's growing, and just making sure that we keep the standard really high, that the product that we put out for people to watch is really good, so that we can keep growing.
Before, when you said you don't tie your identity to football, did you have that mindset coming in, like here in the 3-year fact, or did that just develop in time? Or
I feel like it's developed over time. I think I've seen girls not be able to mentally overcome losing sport too. But it's definitely come from even like just like my husband played professional rugby league as well. He played for the Knights and Raiders. And I think even just for watching him and how like hard it was for him to decide to retire. And then I just think about myself and what else I have outside of football that keeps me grounded and doesn't let me get like too ahead of myself, because you just never know when something's going to get taken away from you. But yeah, I do think coming into the sport a little bit older really helped me see a bigger perspective than just rugby league. And I think younger athletes today, it's really hard to, you just don't want to tie yourself there, but then you also don't want to miss opportunities when you're in there. It's like, it's a fine line. But yeah, being able to juggle and making sure that you find your purpose like outside of sport as well.
I feel like there's a fine line between trying to start young and get into it while you're at your peak, essentially. Like I feel like I was a lot fitter when I was 20 than I am now.
Yeah.
But also now, like my mindset's so different to when I was 20. Like I done university a lot later in life.
Yep.
And I think if I'd done university when I was 18, I would have been fucking shit. I wouldn't have finished. I would not have finished. But I went and travelled and got some life experiences behind me and understanding of things, and I felt like it was just such a different experience. So there's a fine line between, like, I can imagine being an athlete, having like that mindset and understanding as an adult, but also like
as an 18-year-old. Yeah, I agree completely. And it's hard because you can't, like, it's hard to talk about because you want to instill that into younger athletes, but it is like life experience and like realizing there's so much more to life as well. So I watch some of the, like, we have a girl in our team, Shanice, like she's a mum, and just watching her the sacrifices she has to make being a mum, working, and an NRLW player work. And that just makes me think you can do this. Like, look at Shanice, like she is just so motivated. She really empowers like so many women in our sport to realize that like you can do it. But it is like the life experience. Like when some girls whinge about training and I'm like, but you're not going home to a baby. Like you're like, and some of the younger girls, like they probably don't have mortgages. They don't have like things they have to pay off. They probably still live with mum and dad. And I think Adam and I have mortgages we have to pay off. We run a farm. Like it's just, there's so many things that you have to do, but then also you have to put in when you're at training, like that's when you go 100. But then also being able to switch off is huge. And it makes you able to enjoy sport and enjoy the time that you're on the field, I think, more because you're not just constantly thinking about it throughout the day and it doesn't dictate your life. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you think about that? Like switching on, switching off, like kind of I guess, evaluating what energy is needed for what you're doing.
It works. Yeah, and when it works as well. It's hard, but I always feel like when I'm at work and when I'm doing something else and I'm not just doing nothing, I don't just think about football. So making sure that I have something else that I'm doing, even if that's going into school and working, or I'm going out on the farm, I've got to do some farm work. I don't think about football there. And like, it's really great. Like Adam's so good. Like he'll give me like some feedback with sport, but like we don't talk about it constantly. And I think that's really important, that our relationship isn't just around rugby league. Like he'll give me pointers, like I'll give you, but then he also understands like when I need time, or like when I just want to be with him, we just don't talk about that.
Yeah.
But that comes back to making sure that you have a purpose outside of rugby league. Like it's so important.
Did you always have that, or did that develop throughout the relationship?
I feel like we've always had that, because when we first met, he was the rugby league player and I was just playing touch football. And then like the roles have kind of reversed. It's like, it's super weird. And then he's there, like he loves watching me play as well. And so it's really weird that that's kind of happened. Like we've kind of reversed.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
The farm. Did you always grow up on farms?
No. So I grew up in Newcastle, and then I met Adam, and he was originally from Scone. And then when the opportunity came to buy this property at Rookel, which is where it's actually right next door to his dad, we had like the finances there, and we had everything sort of in place to be able to do it. Yep. It's like an expensive thing.
Is it a lot of work?
It is a lot of work, but Adam loves it. Like so, and I think like being there to support him, like I'm probably not as like great at farming as him. Like he just tells me what to do and I just have to do it. But it's something that we love to do together, and I feel like that's why I like it, because he loves it. And then watching him just thrive and like just enjoy, like it's not easy either. Like it's really hard. And it's like really hard because you got to depend heaps on the weather and moving the cattle and like obviously with the animals, like you never know what they're going to do. So I've learned a lot being married to Adam and like being married to the farm basically. But I do see it as like it's a great getaway for us, and we can just like escape everything, because just go out there, get the work done, and like
Are you running cattle on it?
Yeah, we have cattle. Nice. So I don't even know how many, over 100. We just have for just us, and then we've got a couple of bulls as well, and we just rotate them around.
So you don't sell them or anything?
Yep.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So we sell cattle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it is hard, and it's hard when like we need to go out there, but like I feel like I'm running out of time to do anything. But being able to do that together is like it's really good quality time too, because out there you don't have anything, you just have each other.
Yeah. I guess you'd be so much more present out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
So is it full-time work?
No, Adam's in the mines as well. Okay. So he works in the mining, and then he has the farm as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Can we talk about the grand final?
Yes. So
you've played 3?
Yep. So I've played 3. So last year we lost in the semi-final, which was like really hard, I think, coming off 3 grand final wins. And I think it took me a while to get over that one, I think, more because I just felt like I feel like I let people down, and I shouldn't feel like that, but I think you can't really help it. Like it just is natural. And I still remember going to the change rooms, and I said to everyone, because everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, like I'm not." Like I don't realize I say that, because when people ask you, "Are you okay?" and they go, "Yeah, I'm okay,"
and they're not.
They're not. Yeah. But I will, I openly say, I'm not okay. Like, we just lost.
Yeah. And then they don't know what to say to you.
Yeah, they don't know what to say. It's actually really funny. But I didn't realise I did that until one of my teammates told me.
You're right.
She was like, "You're so funny. Like, you say, like, you're not okay." And I'm like, "I know, but I'm not. I just lost. Like, of course I'm not okay. But I will be. I will be okay. But at that moment, I'm not." So I remember went to the change rooms and everyone was so sad. And I remember I was like, I need a moment by myself. And I like locked myself in the bathroom because I needed to like sob. Like, and I think that's how, like I'd call it like ugly crying because when everyone kept coming up to me and asking me if I was okay, I was like, no, I'm not okay. But I think I just needed a moment for myself to reflect, not on the game, but just reflect on my emotions. And like, I needed to probably just get out the emotions and then I would be able to be okay. So yeah, going to the bathrooms and looking myself in the stall, I really just let loose and like I sobbed. And I didn't sob for ages. It was just like a little bit, but I just needed that moment to myself. And then I was able to come out to the girls and again, like we all were just so sad. And I think it was sad because we knew how many girls were leaving. And I think it just felt like that was like a closing of like a chapter.
Yeah.
So it was really sad. But I think as well, making sure that we learn from that for this season, like that's massive. And being able to, use those emotions that you felt, like that you feel and remember them. So I do like journal a little bit too. So like once a week I will journal and just write down like the feelings that I remember from that week. And then I reflect on it, like, and then I'll go back and just make sure like I'll read it. And then like, cause it does help you with like realizing like maybe why did I play bad or why was everything so hard that week? And then you go back and read and you're like, oh, like, cause you weren't feeling like you weren't happy. Like you weren't in a good headspace at that time. Like, how do you like change that?
It's just like you go back and read your journals going into the week.
Yeah, like, or like even like say like if I go back, say like we lost the semi-final and then I like gave myself like a week to reflect and then we do reviews as well after the season
as a team
as a team and individually with the coach.
Yep.
And I remember before my review with my coach I read all my journals for the season. Like just and I only write like, it's not much, like I like 2 sentences per week. And I like told him like there were parts like of the season that I found really hard and I felt like the team wasn't connecting. And he was like, I felt that too. So, and I wish maybe like, you know, when in hindsight, like you wish you spoke up at the time. And like to the like coach's credit, he tried really hard to like create like connections, but it is hard as well. And, but like, just like little moments like that, like that's when I like to reflect as well and kind of look back.
Do you journal to get it out or to know that you're going to go back and read it? Is it just to express something? I
think it's probably just to express something and that so I don't forget, because when you get like life, you just go into like a cycle and sometimes you feel like it's so mundane because you do the same thing. You wake up, train, work, train again. But like I don't think I take that moment to like sit down and like write what like I was feeling that week. So I probably do it on like a Sunday afternoon when I'm at home and I just write down like was the week great? Like did I have how did I feel? Was there any sad moments? Like did I feel any sadness? And it's not on purpose to reflect, but it's just so I don't forget maybe. And like, I don't know why I do it, to be honest, but it makes me feel like I'm getting it out probably as well.
I do it before bed every night.
Oh, see, I could not do it every night. I feel like once a week for me is like enough.
I'll be laying in bed with the light off and go, fuck, I didn't journal. I'll get up and then do it. Like I just can't go to sleep until I do it. But I'll just write down kind of what I was grateful for the day. Yeah. And then I'll write down things that are like in the present tense, things that are happening, but it's what I want for tomorrow. Yeah. So like if I was to, I don't know, go speak somewhere, I'd be like, and I spoke perfectly. Yeah. As if it happened, but I know I've got to talk tomorrow.
Yes, I love that. I really need to probably work on my gratitude a little bit more, but I feel like I do it without writing it down.
Instead of, I do it a lot without writing it down.
Yeah, you know, and you just think, oh yeah, I'm just grateful to even wake up every morning. So like, just like little things like that, I feel like I do without having to write it down. But I think girls with like a different mindset probably need to write it down too. And but it's just finding what works for you. as well.
I think writing it down's a great start because it forces you to do the practice. But if you're doing it on your own, just out and about, like if you're doing a hike and you stop and just go, fuck, I'm so grateful to be doing this hike. It's authentic now because you're doing it without that reminder of having to get your notepad before bed or something. Like it's becoming you. It's your practice.
Yeah, and I think I do that without even thinking about it. Like that's what and I love that. I don't know where that's come from though, because because we do practice a bit of gratitude and like when we're at like trainings and stuff, and we get like special like speakers in to like help us with mindset.
Oh, great.
Being an athlete. So we're really great. Like and every team I've been in has always had someone come in and like talk about mindset. So we've had Dan Hersler in for Origin. Okay. He was amazing. He just like puts things into like different perspectives and like allows you to, I don't know, connect with your teammates on different levels.
Is this where the reframing coming to?
Yeah, but I feel like I took it from him as reframing.
Okay.
So like like if something negative happens to me, I always try and reframe it that like it could be worse, but also like it gives you an opportunity to take the time to get it better. So like for instance, I had like heaps of Achilles issues like one season, and I was so angry and I was like, why is this happening to me? Like what is going on? But then instead of like being like that, I reframed it to be like, well, now I can get stronger calves. It gives me time to rehab. Like I'm actually putting the time aside to make myself better. So like putting positive spins on everything to make sure that I am grateful that I get the opportunities to do that.
Do you ever reframe it in the like I broke my ankle and at the time I was going to some probably parties and stuff I shouldn't in some dodgy areas. And I was kind of like, if my ankle was fine and I wasn't at home on crutches, I would have went to them parties. I could have got like stabbed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I think, not in that sense, but I think like someone, whether it's God or I have loved ones who have passed, someone's guiding that.
Yeah.
Do you think of it like a bit like a higher energy type sense, or is it
a little bit? But then I also like definitely like higher. Like there's someone obviously helping as well, but. Yeah, but it also has to come from like within yourself as well, like making sure that you don't always focus, like being, I always say this to my husband, like you need to be optimistic in life, like in everything, because like I feel like when you're positive and you have optimism towards everything, like anything can happen because you're so willing to learn and to put yourself out there. Whereas I say to my husband, like, don't be pessimistic. Like, don't. And he didn't know what it meant at the first. And I was like, it's like when you see a half a glass, like, do you see that it's half a glass empty? And he was like, yeah. And I said, but it could be, it's half full. Like, so you should be thankful that you've got half a glass even. And he was like, oh yeah. But so like, that's kind of how I see everything in life is that like, and then also that like, it allows you to probably take opportunities that you never thought you could as well.
The world changes.
Yeah.
You start seeing things differently.
Yeah. And I know I'm quite a positive person and I do try and like bring that energy to others that probably are feeling down and probably feel like things haven't gone their way. But again, like what you surround yourself with too is how you're going to feel. So I always try and like bring that positive energy, and sometimes I know when I'm not feeling myself, like everyone can tell, like all my friends and family like know when something's off because I'm so like I can like I give off a different energy, and they can just be like, what's wrong, Yasmin?
If you're around people that are like negative, whinging, like, because for me, I don't know about you, it sticks to me. Yeah. Like if I'm around someone, I'm like, fuck, I've got to get away because it sticks with me. Yeah. But have you developed like putting up a wall, or do you distance yourself? Are you very strict with keeping that negative energy away?
A little bit, but then I also ask them like, I also kind of found it like intriguing. I'm like, well, why? Like, and I try and get them to answer like, well, why do you feel like that? Or like, why is it so hard? Like, did you put in the work previously? Like it's just like little things like that. But then I also like, if someone's like really negative, like I will remove myself. But sometimes girls can be going through hard things as well. And, but I think it's about supporting them in a way that they feel like they're being heard, but also that like they can come to you to kind of get rid of that negative energy as well. So like even with some of the girls in our team, like they're pretty self-aware and they understand like they need to get negative thoughts out. So like if someone does like silly on the field, like we always go like get your negative thoughts out, like, and reset.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's pretty funny though. Like we kind of like come up with like little what do you call it? Like little sayings. So like one year we had like, it was like FUMO. So it's like fuck up, move on.
Nice.
So you like you fuck up on the field, but you move on because you can't keep playing that, like that fuck up on like repeat, because then it's going to ruin your whole game. So having little triggers like that really helped us as a team as well to kind of move on, and you don't let that negativity slide in because it only takes like really one or two negative people to like bring down the whole team environment. But I feel being positive or like being around people that are positive and also just putting yourself out there, like you could like sometimes people could be like, oh, like you're annoying, like because you're so positive, but like
I get that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean though? Like people think you're just annoying, but to be honest, but maybe your negativity could be bringing someone else down, but then my positivity could be bringing 3 people up. So that's also another thing I need to understand, that like people can find me annoying, and that because I have a big personality too, but understanding that like each player in my team probably needs a little bit of something different.
It's really honest.
Yeah, it is. I know, and I always say that like I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but on the field, like we just need to all respect each other, and that's it.
Because I've had people say to me like, Jye, I don't need the positivity right now. I just need a moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all good, but like that's a choice still.
Yeah.
You could choose to just kind of go, well.
Yeah. But I feel like as well, like surrounding yourself with people that allow you to be yourself and allow you to be positive, I think then they will see like they're going to be more positive in their life as well. And like there are moments when like I'm not happy and I'm sad and like, but then I have my support network to fall back on. And I'm so, like I'm very open and honest to my husband. Like he goes, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm not happy today, and I just don't know why, but I need a moment. I need to do something for myself, fill my own cup back up so that I'm able to be like my happy self, if that makes sense.
Not talking about the team, but in life, when you say like surround yourself around positive people, like I was saying about before, like distancing yourself from the negative people, have you found that challenging over the year to be like, if there's people that you love and they just keep weighing on you, to like let go of them in a sense, or just have that relationship but not how it used to be? Yeah,
a little bit. Like it is really tough. Like it's very hard, and like there's just like lots of moments that people can go through that like it is tough, because like there is like a example in like my family, like someone's going through like a really hard time at the moment, and like he's really distanced himself from our family by making negative choices in his life, and that's really affected my whole family. But I think as well, like we need to take positives, like if he can't like make better choices for himself, like then we need to just focus on us and like be positive. But like for my family, that's really hard, because that's my brother, like, and his choices are like really hurt my family. So we need to, and like it's hard as well, because I can see my mum just wants to be there for him, but it's very, very like confronting and hard when like he doesn't want the help, but we try so hard. And I always say to my mum, like, we need to just wait for him to come to us, because there's only so much you can give before it like takes everything away from you. And I think, being there for my mum and dad, being there for my mum and dad when like so that hopefully one day like he'll come back and we'll be there waiting for him to support him.
Have you always had this mindset?
I think so. I think I get it from my mum a lot. Like my mum's quite a positive person, and it's really hard like when someone, like there's so much love for someone and then like they don't make the right choices in life, and like, but that's like, it's fine, and like that's his decision. But being there to support my mum and dad who would give everything for him, I think you need to like make sure that like, you're listening and supporting them because they need the support, if that makes sense. But like hopefully one day he realizes like what he has, like his support network is there. He just needs to like lean back into it. But yeah, like it's been like a little bit, and yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. But yeah, being there for him is really hard because he doesn't want it, but we want to give it to him, and we want to know that like he obviously has support there. But yeah, just waiting for him, because again, it has to come from within as well. Like even like in life, in sport, like you need to want that and realize the people that you have around you will support you, or like make sure that you have those really good support networks that if you do fall back and you need them, like they're there to catch you. Yeah.
How important is your support network for you? Like so especially with sports.
Yeah, so important. So like I have my teammates, and then like I obviously have like a couple of girls that like are super close to me and that I can like run to if I need to in a sporting world. But I also know that like those friendships I'm going to have outside of sport. So when I retire from rugby league, like I know I'll have those friendships still. And then I also have like my mum and dad and my sister. They're amazing. And I wouldn't be here without them. Which is really cliche, but it is true. And then obviously my husband, like he's a massive support network, and he really instills in me that like I can do whatever I want. And like I love that from him. Like he's never been someone to be like, oh, like, are you going to keep playing? Like he's always like, do it. Like you love it. Like he sees how passionate I am about it. So I'm always extremely grateful to have someone so supportive in my corner. But yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love your mindset towards all this. It's really, really refreshing, and it's inspiring.
Yeah. And that's hard. And it, like, I feel like as well, like you don't know everyone's story. Like that's, and no one has to force you to tell their story, if that makes sense. But also being open-minded and understanding that everyone's story is different, and like they're going to let you into whatever part they want you to, but also then just understanding that what they might need from you can be different at different times.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come in, share your story. You're a very inspiring person. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.